Mitch McConnell, the Sith Lord himself, he sat down for an interview with Jonathan Swan of Axios. It's very rare that McConnell does these sorts of interviews, so it was actually very interesting to me to watch it. And McConnell has a really dark answer about his morality, and he kind of struggles to answer some basic questions here from Jonathan Swan about, well, hold on, you admit that the rigged election stuff is bullshit from Trump, but yet you still, you say you'll still support him. What's going on with that? So anyway, let's take a look and then I'll react.
You are known for playing a ruthless style of politics. Where do you draw your moral red lines?
I didn't realize I was known for playing a ruthless. I thought my wife thinks I'm a really nice guy. My kids like me. I got a lot of friends.
That's 4 so far, okay.
I'm shocked to hear such a comment.
Let's just take as a premise, and I think the audience might agree with me, that there are some people, maybe some substantial people in this country who might agree with that assertion.
I'm sure you could find
some
who could.
Moral red lines, where do you draw them?
I'm perfectly comfortable with the way I have conducted my political career, and I'd be happy to respond to any specificity you want to apply to the term. What was it?
Moral red lines.
Moral red line. Yeah.
Well,
I'm very comfortable with my moral red line.
Let me give you one specific. Help me understand this. I watched your speech last year in February on the Senate floor after the second impeachment vote on Donald Trump, and it was an extraordinary speech. You spoke very powerfully against the most powerful figure in your party, the president, and you said Donald Trump's actions preceding the January 6th insurrection were a, quote, disgraceful dereliction of duty, and that he was practically and morally responsible, your words, for provoking the events of that day. How do you go from saying that to 2 weeks later saying you'd absolutely support Donald Trump if he's the Republican nominee in 2024?
Well, as the Republican leader of the Senate, it should not be a front-page headline that I will support the Republican nominee for president.
After you've said that about him, I think it's astonishing.
I think I have an obligation to support the nominee of my party. And
is there anything they could do?
I will. That will mean that whoever the nominee is has gone out and earned the nomination.
Okay, but Donald Trump earned it last time, and I'm just trying to understand, what you say matters. You're a very important voice in this country. You're the leader of your party, and you seem to hold two concurrent, conflicted positions, which is
not at all inconsistent.
If I just
not at all inconsistent. I stand by everything I said
I understand, but
January 6th and everything I said on February the 13th.
I understand that, but what I want to understand, which I haven't heard you address, is
because I don't get to pick the Republican nominee for president. They're elected by the Republican voters all over the country.
I fully understand that, but take Liz Cheney, for example.
You want to spend some more time on this as well?
I actually do, because I actually, no, I genuinely want to understand this. I really want to understand how you think about this, because Liz Cheney, who has the same view of you as of January 6th, she said she doesn't want Donald Trump anywhere near the White House, and she's going to work to not make that happen, because she thinks that there are some things more important than party loyalty.
Yeah. Well, maybe you ought to be talking to Liz Cheney.
No, but I'm not trying to... I really, it's not a gotcha. I'm just actually trying to understand, is there any threshold for you of what someone can do on a moral level?
I say many things I'm sure people don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, I think that speaks for itself. What's incredible is this is a guy who's been in politics basically his entire life. And when he's asked a question about his moral red lines, he literally has no answer. Oh, my wife thinks I'm a good guy. I have friends, and my friends think I'm a good guy. So? I'm sure Stalin had friends. I'm sure Hitler had friends. I'm sure they would pet a dog every now and then, and you give somebody a gift. What does that mean? What does that mean? What are your moral red lines? Oh, I'm a good person. I'm surprised that here you think I have a ruthless style of politics. You're surprised to hear that anybody would call your style of politics ruthless? You're surprised to hear that. This is a guy, They tried to repeal Obamacare like 70 times. 70 times. And Obamacare is the most milquetoast reform to our healthcare system ever. It is originally a Republican idea. The idea is keep the for-profit health insurance companies in control, but just mandate that people have to buy health insurance from them. And even that, they said, was far too progressive. It helped way too many people. We're against that. We're against helping people. They tried to repeal it 70 times. They broke the filibuster record under Obama. Again, a guy who describes his own politics as like, if I was around in 1980, I'd be like a moderate Republican. Mitch McConnell looks at that like, no, we don't like that. He said something recently. I was trying to look it up. So he blocked a vote on $2,000 checks, despite the fact that there were actually a few Republicans, including Josh Hawley, who were on board with that. He said he was against even the $1,400 stimulus checks that Biden ended up sending out because, quote, people could stop working. He said something like, I need everybody to know that my party's not for that. Your party's not for what? Checks in the middle of a pandemic and an economic downturn? So when he's asked, like, what's your morality, bro? Like, what do you believe? Like, what are you trying to do with power? His answer is, now look, don't get it twisted. With most politicians, I think the answer is like some toxic brew of narcissism and self-aggrandizement and, you know, maybe every now and then do some tweaks around the edges and try to do a little bit of good here and there. But with Mitch McConnell, he can't even fake it. He's my wife thinks I'm a good person. I'm in favor of every war that's ever been waged in human history, and I like it when workers make lower wages, and I think corporations are people, but I think I'm a pretty swell guy. Now let's get to the part about Trump. So in the wake of January 6th, because remember, a lot of people forget this, Trump gave a speech on January 6th where he basically said like, all right, and having said everything, let's now go to the Capitol. And then they went to the Capitol and everybody knows what happened next. The window's broken, people storming in, and all sorts of chaos. So Trump said that, and McConnell in the wake of it, like virtually every single DC politician, regardless of what, you know, face they're putting out there to the public, they were fucking terrified at that time. And they were like, this has gotten out of hand. And Trump needs to reel it in. And what's happening here is unacceptable. Because now the violence was targeted at them. And so we're like, oh my God, we don't like this. We can't handle it. So McConnell, he did a little trial balloon test where he was like, you know, he condemned what Trump did. He said the election wasn't stolen. And that was going to be his line. When he got the colossal backlash, he immediately backed down. And he backed down for self-preservation reasons. He knows, okay, well, my political career is in trouble if I take this stand. So let me just go ahead and not take this stand. My guess is, because in the wake of January 6th, a lot of people don't remember this, but even the corporations were jumping ship. Because the Republican Party is nothing other than socially conservative, and everything, therefore, economically just helps corporations and screws regular people. But even the corporations were like, you know what, there's a bridge too far. And so Mitch McConnell was responding to the donors running away. When they were running, McConnell goes, oh, well, those are my actual bosses, so I'm with them. So they're against this. Yeah, I'm against this too. I'm against Trump too. When it became clear that there wasn't going to be any other figure in the Republican Party, didn't matter who it was Mike Pence, Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, or whoever, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, George W. Bush, or whatever. As soon as he realized, oh, Trump has officially cucked all of us and is more popular with the base than all of us, immediately he was donezo. He was like, oh, did I say that I'm against this? I mean, well, I'm kind of agnostic on it, and if Trump runs again, I'll support him. But think about what the admission is there. Because for real, imagine if it was, she was on the other foot and it was Democrats who did January 6th, and it was a Democratic president who was trying to hold on to power. They would never shut up about, this is totalitarianism, this is a dictatorship, and they're authoritarians, and they're trying to steal it, and it's a coup, and it's unacceptable, and this is undemocratic, this is not the American way. When it's Trump, homeboy was basically like, this is authoritarian, and this is a dictator move, and okay, now I'm for it, because I got some backlash, and Trump is more popular than me, so I guess I'm for it. So Mitch McConnell ultimately is a corporate cuck, first and foremost. That's why he did the initial condemnation. But then fundamentally, he's a tribalist cuck, and the alpha male in the Republican Party made him bend the knee, and so he bent the knee. That's what he is. And so to get back to the original question about what are your moral red lines, He doesn't have any moral red lines. He doesn't have any morality whatsoever. The idea, like, he's actively against policies that would, like, give workers higher wages, feed hungry kids, bring about peace and prosperity. So he's, like, if you objectively look at his record and try to take away conclusions from that, it's like he's pro-war, anti-more money for workers, pro-hungry children. Like, there is no morality. There's a lack of a morality. He is the Sith Lord. That's what he is. And so this was wonderful watching him squirm to the most basic of questions about why he's there and why are you doing what you're doing. And look, even somebody like Liz Cheney, it's astonishing too, because Liz Cheney's voting record is almost identical to Donald Trump's. I forget the exact number, 95% or more she votes with Donald Trump. But she was like, well, look, he's beyond the pale because he effectively would have been a dictator if he could have gotten away with it. And that's unacceptable to me. She wants all the bad policies, but the bad policies after somebody gets democratically voted in to do those bad policies. And she's drawing a hard line on that. But McConnell's like, ultimately, I don't even care about that. It's whatever. So it's all about self-preservation. And he's one of the most ghoulish figures in American politics, and he's been for decades, and it's never been more obvious. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.